what's going down in the Bay. It's the Niner Empire, yeah, we came to play. It's forever going down in the Bay. Win, lose, draws, red and gold all day.
We in this building. We in this building today. Man.
Let's go.
Man. Hey, I'm glad to have y'all back too, man. Hey, man, my name is Akeem, and this is the 49ers Empire Podcast. This is Blair Coates. We got Wayne. We got Sterling. Hey, matter of fact, I'm going to have y'all introduce you because y'all do totally different things. So I'm going to have y'all introduce yourselves, man. Let's start with you, Wayne.
What's going on? It's your boy Breezy from Nitty Gritty Niners and Nothing But Niners, man. It's always a pleasure to be on y'all podcast, man. I can't wait to get some stuff off my chest.
Let's get it, man. All right, man. Next man up.
Yeah, my name is Sterling. I host the 49er Access podcast on Anchor, Apple, and Spotify, wherever you can find me. You can follow me on Twitter at 49ers_access, on Instagram, 49ers.access. You guys been my boys since day one, and I can't wait to get into this right now.
Oh, let's get into it, man. Let's get all the way into it, man. Let's talk about it. Let's get right into it, man. There's a lot of things on the table, man. The 49ers went pretty hard and then lied about it, went pretty hard at, Matthew Stafford. Let's keep it all the way real, man. We all know that they went hard. What's up, my peoples, man? What's up with y'all, man? What's up with y'all? But we all know they went hard, and we all know that, they try to acquire somebody better than Jimmy G, just like they did in the offseason of last year, right? When they try to get Tom Brady. Let's keep it all the way real and talk about it a little bit. So let me go into it just a little bit, okay? So from what I do know is that we try to offer a couple twos and, some threes. And now I know they may have tried to throw Jimmy G in that situation, right? They try to keep their ones. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to throw Jimmy in there. Matthew Stafford, regardless of what people say, he's definitely an upgrade over what we have. Let me go ahead and talk about it a small bit before you guys go. When you're an offensive coordinator and you're calling plays and you can't call plays based on the limitations of your quarterback, we have to do things based upon what you solely can do. Is limiting my creativity. That means the defensive coordinator can key in on a lot of things because I know he can't throw back shoulder fades. Have we seen it yet? Back shoulder fades from Jimmy G? We haven't seen it, right? Nobody wants to talk about some of the balls he can't throw, right? Then we're going to talk about his health. He can't even stay on the field, right? So we have to talk about our number one position of need in not only our team, but probably 85% of the teams in the NFL. That is the most important position. This is number one in the NFL, my bad. Go ahead and go. Tell me what you guys are thinking about this offseason so far, Matthew Stafford.
I mean, when I look at what the 49ers were trying to do with Matthew Stafford, on the business side, it's strategic. It's smart. That is what you want your GM doing. You don't want to sell the farm. I said this a little while ago. The team is not in place to make a Super Bowl run. That is a fantasy that 49er fans are living in. They are trying to reload the roster. You have a bunch of free agents you need to sign. You want to hold on to those picks. So I see why they were trying to hold off on giving up the one. I think it really came down to that 12th pick. They didn't want to give it up. Unfortunately, you lose to the Rams in that pick, and now Matthew Stafford is going to be playing us twice through the year, potentially going to have to play us in the playoffs. So, yeah, But when I look at the business side of it, I didn't want to sell the whole farm to get Matthew Stafford. I just didn't. I don't think he is on the level of Deshaun Watson. Now, if you're talking about a player like that, maybe you can sell the farm. But you're talking about a guy who is essentially a statue but can throw really well. It's unfortunate that we lost on that, but I truly believe it's smart to hold on to your picks when you're trying to rebuild a roster.
What we got, Wayne?
Matthew Stafford. Now, I wanted Matthew Stafford. All right, I'm not going to front. I thought he was a clear upgrade over Jimmy Garoppolo, just from his mobility, him being able to extend plays, the fact that he can throw the ball further down the field. He can make those shoulder fade back, shoulder throws. He can also throw the ball from sideline to sideline. The only downfall to Matthew Stafford, in my opinion, is he does get injured a lot, but at least he plays. Right, he plays through his injuries. He stays on the field, right? And he just can't seem to win games. But he's on the Lions. No one was winning games on the Lions. I hate the fact that people are like, oh, he can't win a game. No one won games with the Lions. I mean, he did back in 11, 8, 9, whatever, when he first got there. Alec Calvin Johnson and all those things. Matter of fact, they were in the playoffs. But come on, man, like and that's the argument that we're having today. We're having the argument of Jimmy being 24-8, but he's still limited to what he can do. And people don't want to factor in that defense's own end on guys' weaknesses. Oh, this guy can't do this. He can't do that. I get it, Jimmy can win games, but he also had the rest of the team there to help him win those games. So
is he winning games or is he managing the games?
See, that's and so he's winning the games because he's getting the wins. But I think it's disguised to where he's actually managed his game. I would say Jimmy won 4 games in 2019. Like he won 4 games. Like he went out there.
The Saints. I can say the
Arizona.
Saints.
Arizona.
Both Arizona games. Both Arizona games.
The Rams.
Saints game,
that Rams game on Monday night.
And that Rams game on Monday night.
I think that may have been it. Yeah.
I'll give him 4.
He didn't win none in the playoffs though. Not one.
No. And I would say this. Jimmy was winning the Super Bowl, and then Jimmy lost the Super Bowl. It's the last time I'm going to say that. Mm-hmm. You could blame the defense. You could blame Kyle Shanahan's play calling. All I know is Jimmy had the ball 3 times to win that game and failed. So the main thing for Jimmy for 2021, if he's going to be a 49er, he has to find a way to be on the field. And if he can't be on the field, we can't even really have this conversation, because if Jimmy's hurt, then what? And if Jimmy's not hurt, we're looking on how to improve. So I was all in on Matthew Stafford because at least I know I'm going to get a warrior, a guy that gets dinged up but doesn't get injured enough to not be on your team. And I just feel like he's an upgrade over Jimmy Garoppolo. That's how I felt about the match. I wasn't giving up 2 first-round picks, a first-round pick, though. I didn't think he was worth that. You got an aging quarterback that wants to be on a winning team for a Super Bowl, that wants to get out of Detroit to give his family a chance to win something in life. I don't think you had to give up all that. I think the 49ers, bamboozled the Rams into doing that. Like, I really do.
What you got, Sterling?
When you look at the Matthew Stafford situation and how the negotiations went down, I talked to Vincent Frank 2 days ago. I asked him what was a defining factor as to how did the Rams, in a sense, fleece San Francisco fleece the Rams into taking on Jared Goff and everything. And pretty much what he said was that until the Rams decided to put Jared Goff on the table, it was the Niners all the way. And so, but they didn't want to give the 12th overall pick, and for a good reason. I wouldn't want to either. San Francisco loves their draft picks. They don't want to move their draft capital. But in a sense, as well, Matthew Stafford, other than having elite mobility, does everything Niner fans have been crying for the last year and a half. He has elite arm talent that can match Mahomes on certain days. He should have beat Mahomes 2 years ago in Detroit. He had him beat. Had it not been for a no-call penalty in the late fourth quarter and Mahomes being Patrick Mahomes. Like, if you're asking for a cheap quarterback that can rival Mahomes, Stafford was the guy. And the Niners, evaluating their draft capital, didn't want to give up everything they needed to get that guy. They know what they have in Jimmy. They know he's limited to a certain point. They also know they can win with him. But now again, you have to ask yourself, defenses have adjusted. They know what's going on. They're playing inside the box. Look at how the Rams played him. Look at how Seattle played him. There's a reason why he was exploited somewhat in those games. Now, again, you can also ask yourself, does Jimmy move the ball down the field as much like he should? Does he throw outside the numbers? Not really. And in 2021, the only way Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be able to reprove himself is if he learns to change how he plays. Now, that's a pretty big if, and it's probably not going to happen. But if you're asking Garoppolo to throw for 300 yards a game, it's not going to happen. It's not who he is. He'll have one or two of those games a year. That's fine. That he can win you a game. I can argue he was almost the sole purpose they won that first Seattle game had it not been for a practice squad kicker. But again, when it comes down to it, they lost in February when it mattered most. Now, I'm not going to say just to him, but he was a part of it. There's a reason why this team won 6 games this past year. He was out. Mm-hmm. If he's healthy, they're in the playoffs, or at least an 8-win team. Like, him being healthy is a big him being not healthy is a big detractor as to what this team can do offensively. But the unfortunate part is him being healthy also limits what this team can do offensively when not having a Matthew Stafford. And so, again, you can also argue that San Francisco was just greedy and said, we want the 10 picks we have to make a different move. But the question is, what moves are left to make? Are you trading up for a rookie quarterback and number 2 to lead this team? I don't think so. Are you giving up 2 first-round draft picks, 2 second-round draft picks, and 2 elite defensive players for Deshaun Watson? I don't think so. I think San Francisco blew their shot at a veteran quarterback in a win-now mode when they didn't trade for Matthew Stafford.
Mm-hmm. Unless there's a way to get an Aaron Rodgers. Like, so and it's far-fetched, but where there's a will, there's a way. Unless. Mm-hmm. So I could see them, the reason why they might have just said, nah. Now, Aaron, let me ask you this guy. What would you give up for Aaron Rodgers? Would you give up that 12th pick? See?
I think I would. I think I would.
It gets really
I would. Aaron Rodgers is at a different level. Aaron Rodgers is at a different level than Matthew Stafford. Yeah. The mobility, the decision making, the arm talent, it's different.
So those 2 quarterbacks, Deshaun Watson and Aaron Rodgers, I would give up that 12th pick. Quickly. And let's keep it real. Like, let's keep it all the way real, right? If we really know when we're healthy what draft pick we're going to be next year is going to be very, very high, very, very high, then, there has to be some type of value in that. If they know that they're not going to be able to sign some guys that we don't know of right now,
right?
Like, if they know that guys that people are expecting to come back is probably not going to be able to be brought back. I was happy that, Sterling, that you posted the Kendrick Bourne situation, because I was worried about – that's one of the spots I was worried about. But on the defensive side of the ball, we legitimately don't have anybody right now. So we have to understand where we're at, right? So if they're saying, okay, we're not going to sign Jason Verrett, right, that means we're going to have to keep that 12th pick because we're going to have to – Patrick Surtain's going to have to be drafted, right? We're going to have to draft him.
I don't want Patrick Surtain. Well, I don't like Sir.
I like it.
That's not the guy.
I like it, but I'm just saying in general, we're going to need a guy, right? We're going to need a guy, and we're going to need a guy in here that's going to come in here and solidify this position, right? Mm-hmm. So if they're saying they're not signing Jason Verrett, also, if you look on the offensive side of the ball, and if they're saying Trent Williams is going to be too expensive for us, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now, what are you saying? So now you're saying, we're gonna have to draft a lineman at that position. Old boy from Oregon probably can do it, but we're gonna have to draft a lineman at that position, and then we're gonna have to
get him.
Yeah, probably trade up and get him, or we have to draft the quarterback in the 2nd round, keep Jimmy, right? It's a telltale thing. But I will tell you what, if Aaron Rodgers is on the table, you just can't miss, right? Because that means now we got to say, forget the cap. Let's go heavy at everybody right now, just like they did Tom Brady out there in the Bucs. Let's go grab as many guys as we can to play around Aaron Rodgers for 1 or 2 year deals and try to make this Super Bowl run like we know we absolutely can. So let me ask y'all this. Nick Bosa, would you guys trade Nick Bosa with the first and the first from next year to get Deshaun Watson? Now, I want to say this because a lot of people think Nick Bosa is untouchable. Defensive ends changes games. Quarterbacks changes franchises. It's a huge difference. Another thing, quarterbacks, without a functional quarterback, defensive ends mean nothing. So I'm going to ask you guys, would you guys give him up, yes or no? If it's a no, why? If it's a yes, why? Go ahead.
Go ahead, Sterling.
Yeah, so it's one of these situations where I think every Niner fan at this point has their emotions tied to Nick Bosa. Number 2 overall, came in, changed the way the entire defense looked. Him, along with D Ford as edge rushers, ultimately morphed this defense into what it has shown to be the last 2 years. Now, again, you can argue that Nick Bosa wasn't healthy last year. He missed all but 2 games. I guess 1.5 games, really. The defense was still top 5 in the NFL. So when you're looking at untouchable players, I can argue Fred Warner is far more untouchable. But if that's the case, and I'm looking at trying to move players, I value Nick Bosa over almost every single defensive player and really almost any player on this team. But I've also heard that if you can move Nick Bosa, that can take up those 2 high-end defensive players Houston wants, and you can only move one, that being Bosa, and you can trade those draft picks, and you can keep guys like Kinlaw and Greenlaw and extend Fred Warner. Like this brass has shown the desire to keep the quantity over quality. They'll move DeForest Buckner to keep Eric Armstead, to keep everybody else intact. The problem is that I agree with you. A quarterback changes a franchise. Deshaun Watson would ultimately put this team in the conversation every single year, top 5 in odds to win the Super Bowl. But we have to look at who the brass is, who the front office is. This isn't a situation where they're saying, if we don't get Deshaun Watson, we're never going to win a ring. They think they can win with Jimmy enough. Now, how much that is, I don't know. They have said he's the guy the entire time, but let's get right down to it. He's not the guy for them. They know that. They want to BS and tell us that. It's not true. There's a reason why his name keep coming up in all these conversations. But I would not trade Nick Bosa in a Deshaun Watson deal, knowing I can give them Kinlaw and I can draft another interior defensive lineman 1 year out. He's a sophomore. Who cares? What is he worth to me? Not that much. I like him a lot. Yeah. I think he can be a great defensive player, but I also would move a guy like Fred or Jimmy Ward, a guy who's going almost 30 years old, and his cap hit's big this year, so I understand you can't really do that, but the way you want to maneuver, but maybe a Dre Greenlaw, a 5th-round linebacker who's turned into a top 15, top 20 linebacker in the NFL. Like, there are things you can do in maneuver ways to package players together along with the picks, so you're not losing Nick Bosa. But again, if you want to trade Nick Bosa, go sign a Shaq Barrett, who's on the exact same level he is. Like, you can replace Nick Bosa fairly easier than people actually think you can.
I like it.
And I'm just going to say this. I'm going to piggyback, okay? To answer the question, no, I'm not going to trade Nick Bosa in a Deshaun Watson deal. And another thing, I'm not ready to move the goalposts and say that the Texans were losing games because of coaching. The Texans are a terrible organization. Big-time players find a way to make plays, right? I don't know what the Texans' record was. Was it 4-12? I'm not really sure of that. So when you're saying to move a franchise player like Nicky Bosa, right, when we're in a league where defense wins you the championship, you have a bunch of great quarterbacks that can get you to the playoffs. They can run around. They're real spectacular. But if you really look at the historical context of the Super Bowl, we can look at our last loss. It wasn't about Patrick Mahomes. It was the defense that shut us down, that took us out of our game plan, and it's always going to be that way. That's why you keep Nicky Bosa. You keep your defensive core. That is the edge. You keep the juggernaut. That's why Seattle's going out and signing Adams. That's why the Rams just sold away everything, because they're trying to compete with the 49ers. You do not give up Nick Bosa in a trade for Deshaun Watson.
So, Blair, I'm not trying to convince you. I'm just going to give you his stat total when he only won 4 games, right? He threw 4,800 yards, 48, 23, 33 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. So
yeah, that's without
that's without D-Hop. That's without a prime time receiver that they took away.
Hold on, no, but that's not just D-Hop.
Yeah.
That's without a run game.
Yeah.
That's without offensive line.
Yeah.
That's him improving.
I mean, that's
him doing things that other quarterbacks in the league just can't do. So here's why you do.
And I was just going to say real quick. So when Jimmy Garoppolo loses, it's all on Jimmy. We never say, "Oh, he didn't have this, he didn't have that." We never do that.
Jimmy be having 2-pick games though. Like he throws 2 interceptions in the game, and we like used to it. Like it's a little. Like he has 7 on the year with a terrible team.
We're so used to Jimmy's interceptions. Man. We're so used to his interceptions that we say, "Oh, he just got to throw 2, and then he's gonna turn into Jimmy." Like Jimmy, you know what I'm saying? So like we're used to it. But here's why you trade Nick Bosa. And I know he's a generational player. He's a game changer. I get it. He was in 2019, just like Jimmy Garoppolo was in 2019. But here's the thing. You know who's not playing on this team right now? D Ford. And I really think that a lot of Nick Bosa's stats, came because D Ford was on that field. The majority of his sacks happened because you had D Ford on the other side. When D Ford was out due to injury, it's not that Nick Bosa's declined, but now he's getting doubles. Now he's getting this. Now he's getting that. Now and he's coming off of an ACL injury. Now I'm not saying if he's going to decline in his play in 2021. I'm just saying, like, you got to add in that factor that was on the field that allowed Nick Bosa's stats to stack to make him look like this crazy, inferior type of defensive juggernaut, which he is. The pedigree is there. Now we got to see, can he come back like his brother Joey? When Joey was injured, can he come back and still have that same edge? But when you're talking about getting a franchise guy that can't win a bunch of games, but definitely is going to put you in the conversation of winning a. Can you imagine if we were able to keep him like Nick Bosa and then still add Deshaun Watson, and what his stats might not be the same, but can you imagine the wins or the chances of him winning in San Francisco? Like I'm talking like 12 wins minimum, like 16 wins max. Like it's just there because now you're bringing in a guy who's more cerebral, who can make better throws, who can escape pressure, who can extend the play, stay in the pocket, wait for it. Our guys get open, and the quarterback just can't get it there. No, it's just what Jimmy can't do. These are some of the things. So that's why I kind of would do it. I don't want to do it. Don't get it twisted. I like Nick Bosa. Matter of fact, I love Nick Bosa. What he's done, what he brought to this team his rookie season was phenomenal. Like it was something we've never seen. Not LT-like, but I think people will fear him like a Lawrence Taylor minus the cocaine. I think he's that type of an impact of a player on a team. All I'm saying is you can get a franchise guy, something we won't be able to draft ever. I just don't think the 49ers will be able to ever draft a franchise quarterback. I just don't think they will.
Yeah, and I'm with you. I also want to bring up the fact that I think people value defensive ends a little too much over a quarterback right now. Like quarterbacks have the ball all the time. Defensive ends may get you, they give you a good one to give you 15 to 17 sacks. They'll probably give you a lot of pressures. It's not a number on that, but they may do a couple run stops here and there. But a quarterback, bro, like a quarterback is in a whole different atmosphere. So. Also, let me put it in perspective when it pertains to, like, Deshaun Watson. No, he's not that much older than Nick Bosa. I think
he's 24, bro.
He's 20. Like he is. He's young. He's what the trend is going to right now. Mobile quarterbacks. Then you got to understand. People don't understand that our window of success is about 2 years right now. So when we got to pay Debo, when we got to pay Fred, when we got to go pay Brandon Ayuk, we've had luxuries, right? And Nick Bosa, right? We've had luxuries, but just think about it like this: how long are we going to be able to sustain not having huge contracts? Most people that win Super Bowls have rookie contracts several different places, right? Or veteran minimums, and they come in and overperform their contract, right? So just think about our squad, bro. We don't have a ton of – we have a ton of talent, but we don't have a ton of quality guys older with low contracts. We just don't.
Right.
You know, like just think about it. Like, okay, so if that's the case, then the skillet is hot now, and we can't go into the season thinking that being the fourth, have the fourth worst quarterback in the division is good. Nick Wright pointed out today that like the past 7 years, the worst quarterback in the division normally wins 8 games or less. Like, that's not good, bro. That's not good. When we got to go play Kyler Murray twice, Russell Wilson twice, and now Matthew Stafford twice.
And that's why I say you need the defense there. And with 10 picks, all the players you just mentioned, right? Those are all draft picks. That is the essence of the John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan tour right now. They are picking players that are performing. You don't give up those picks. You continue to build this team in the draft.
So
I like Deshaun Watson.
So we're rebuilding.
I think so. I honestly think so.
I don't see that a year removed from the Super Bowl we're rebuilding. I see that the skillet is hot, and if we don't make major moves right now, have some kahunas, and go out and grab somebody that's going to be able to be the best. Like Deshaun Watson will be by far the best quarterback that Kyle Shanahan's ever coached, right?
Mm-hmm.
By
far.
So imagine that. Like Matt Ryan was really good at the time too, and he brought him to the Super Bowl. They blamed Kyle Shanahan. Like, I mean, he put up 28 points in the Super Bowl. You can't like I was a defensive coordinator. Let me tell you something. If the offense give you 28, it's your job to make sure they have less than that. I don't put that one on him. What are you guys' thoughts on drafting a quarterback? Like talking to Jimmy about a 2-year deal, you know, keeping him for another year, and drafting a quarterback, maybe going up and get like, you know, who we want in so many quarterbacks I like right now. So
let's all pick a quarterback and let's see if we can. If that's the guy we would move up the draft.
I like Justin
you go
Fields.
last.
Okay.
Dang.
Yeah. I like Trey Lance, and I don't think you're going to have to move up to get him.
Dang.
You honestly don't. And I think this is a type of player that you can develop that can put up the same kind of numbers as Deshaun Watson. Eventually, Zach Wilson, another quarterback that I think will give you similar numbers. The guy is in this draft. I don't think you need to sell the farm for Deshaun Watson, a guy that is a mobile quarterback that also has an ACL injury on his record. I'm just going to call it like it is, okay? And I don't think you need to sell the farm for a player like that when you have multiple draft picks, so many options to continue to build on your franchise.
He has an ACL injury on his record.
ACL of quarterbacks don't really matter, man. That ain't
right.
He's mobile. He's a mobile quarterback.
Yeah, but you see, he's 4,800 yards, man. Still,
that's what I was going to
say. It matters for Jimmy.
It matters for Jimmy because it matters for Jimmy. He's a little different. You know, when you look at Jimmy,
that's moving the goalposts again. See how we move the goalposts?
No, I gotta say it because Jimmy, if he didn't have the high ankle sprain this year, I probably could defend him. But that was his only injury in his whole entire career. Like we can't, and then you got to remember Jimmy when he was with the Patriots, he had a shoulder something. And he was down. He was down after week 3, and he missed the rest of the season.
He had an ACL injury with us,
bro.
And now the high ankle sprain.
I mean, I know he's like our son, and it's like his son walking in with black eyes, and you want to hug. Oh, come here, son. I'm sorry for your black eye. You keep getting your ass whipped. Come on.
He's 24-8. That's his losing record, right? How many games has he missed? I really want to know that. That number should be most important. He missed more games than he's won. So why are we not factoring that in? That was the first thing Sterling said. You got to be on the field, Jimmy. Like that's where it starts. Then
Yeah.
the fans can kind of like sit there and really, get a hold of what Jimmy can do, cannot do. Even the coaches. This is why I think they're really trying to move forward, because I don't think they really have a great assessment on, well, Jimmy can be this. I don't know, coach. Like, if he gets another high ankle sprain and we have to go through another season of Nick Mullins or Josh Rosen.
Oh, no.
Hey, bro, when have you heard of guys with high ankle sprains damn near missing the season, bro?
Never.
Dope, most of them
But I think
came back. Like,
But isn't that why it's
Tevin
fishy
Coleman.
though? Doesn't that sound fishy to you?
It
So he
does,
gets the
man.
high ankle sprain in week 2.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so the point is that they held him out the rest of the year to save his trade value, knowing in the offseason they wanted the new quarterback. That's the exact
nobody
reason why
wants to
Jimmy
talk
Garoppolo
about
didn't
this.
play.
But
But the problem is that if Jimmy Garoppolo plays to end the year, they're probably in the playoffs. Let's be honest. They beat Dallas.
which
they beat
hurts
Washington.
which hurts what? His trade value.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's true though, because if he takes us to the playoffs, people go, oh, he was hurt the first couple weeks of the season. He's come back. He looks better. Looks healthy. He's not throwing to Dante Pettis and Trent Taylor week 1. He finally has Brandon Ayuk, who didn't play until week 3. Like, he has some guys around him. George Kittle's finally healthy. Like, I put on Twitter today some video. I forgot where it was. It was some like podcast doctor. He talked about Garoppolo's injury. And he talked about
seen that.
how they brought George Kittle back in games that did not matter.
With the broken foot.
Recovering from a broken foot. But they couldn't bring Garoppolo back from a high ankle sprain. Even Mostert came back from a high ankle sprain. And then obviously he got re-hurt again. But the Niners held Jimmy Garoppolo out to protect themselves, more importantly, because they knew they wanted the new quarterback. They knew if he went out there and he failed again, no trade value. But
That's
here's the
what I
thing.
said.
No team already wants him. It backfired heavily. They should have put him back out there. They should have let him take them to an 8-8, a 9-7 record if it was even possible at that point. Like,
Bro,
they
saying
hurt
Josh
themselves by
Rosen.
not playing Jimmy Garoppolo. They blew it. This was their white whale. We have to get a franchise quarterback, and they blew all the leverage they had in saying we already have one by not letting him play.
Yeah.
It must was a really severe high ankle sprain, though, guys.
Yeah.
It was really severe to where, I mean, he doesn't throw off of his back foot. He doesn't step into his throws anyway, but it was so severe that he just looked terrible. Which is weird because he got the high ankle sprain in the game when he was 14 for 16.
Adrenaline.
And then all of us, okay, well, then shoot adrenaline before every game. Like, take a shot of it.
But you also know he was 14 and 16 against a. It was a
I don't say it. Don't you say it.
No, it was Dinkin and Duncan against the Jets. I mean, how hard is that, right? Dinkin and dunking against the Jets. That's all I'm saying, bro.
But with no Debo, no Ayuk, no Kittle, he had Jordan Reed and was killing it. And that's no offense to Jordan Reed. He had nothing around him and was still having a great game.
Hey, but
he only played one half.
Hey, man.
Jordan Reed got hurt in that game too, didn't he?
Yeah, he got hurt.
Giants game.
He did. Yeah, that terrible field.
Hey, man. Let me say it again. I'm going to say it, and I'm going to say what the 49ers need to do at this point. We need to say, forget these picks, and we need to go get the big dog Aaron Rodgers. You know Aaron wants to come back to California. So we need to spin this. We need to say, you know what? Let me give you this first. I'll slide you Jimmy just off the strength, right?
Nobody want him.
Yeah. But on the low, I'm gonna slide you Jimmy, right? Please take Jimmy, right? And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give you this first, and then I'm gonna give you a second for next year, right? Because I know that should secure that what is he, 37-year-old quarterback that's probably got like 2 more years left.
I think he's 36, right?
Okay, so even then,
yeah.
Then we draft with our first pick in the second round. We draft Mac Jones, right? So that way he can learn under Aaron Rodgers, right?
He's 37. You're right.
Now, so now we talking about a Hall of Fame quarterback, a really, really good head coach, a good franchise with weapons. Now you got a young quarterback that's here that can emulate how his professionalism and his between his ears.
I don't know
great.
if you like Aaron Rodgers' professionalism.
I do. I do.
His professionalism may be a little bit questioned. I love it.
It's that Bay Area, man. Hey, it's whatever. We out here.
Yeah.
We out here, baby. Aaron.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
He's a homeboy. That's what it is, man. He can't do no wrong for me right now, man.
I'm with you on that too.
I was sitting watching film on Mac Jones, and I don't understand why people think he's that bad. Okay, so he's in Alabama. Oh, and he has some of the best wide receivers in the game and a great offensive line. You know what he does, though? He makes these throws. Like, he has to throw to these guys. Like, and it's not like he's throwing to the wide receiver where they got to go out their way to get the ball. I mean, these balls are dropped into the front of their arms where they could just do a Jerry Rice extension, make a catch, put a move on a guy, and take it to the – like, he's making these dime throws. Short game, long game. So he's immobile. He doesn't like to move a lot, but he still can extend the play. I like him as a project. People don't like first-round pick. Me personally, I could trade back in the draft. I know you don't like that. If I could trade backwards, get it in the 20s. That way, if you draft him in the first round, you get that fifth-year extension, that fifth-year option on him. If you get a guy to where he could come in and just learn the game I think Mac Jones will be starting like soon in the NFL, man. I think he has I was talking to this Alabamian, diehard. He knows football. He knows his football team. He knows football in general, and he was just explaining how cerebral he is. A guy that understands the playbook. A guy that can recognize defenses. And I know that's in college, but Alabama didn't play all corny teams. They played some cream of the crop teams, and I felt like he dissected them. So I don't know why he gets such a bad rep. Because
Alabama don't put out traditional quarterbacks. They don't put out good quarterbacks.
Okay.
Yep.
If it wasn't for Carlson Palmer, like other than that, USC has. I mean, and I'm a huge Trojan fan, so I don't. I mean, it's just what it is.
I hear you.
Now we talk about linebackers.
I got you.
Yeah.
Linebackers and
linemen. Yep.
Yeah, we out there. So what do y'all think, man? What do you think our next move should be before we get up out of here, man?
I just think we need to let the world know who our quarterback is going to be, so we can stop arguing and fighting and stuff, because the fan base is so torn right now.
It's good.
It needs some patchwork.
I like the
fan base. It needs some healing. But it would be really cool. Let me ask you this question: You can move on from Jimmy G and gain some money. You don't have a quarterback right now, but you could get $20-something million added back to your cap. Now you can go get. What's the purpose of bringing Jimmy G back if we don't have a left tackle? Like, I'm trying to understand that.
We got to go Williams. And to be honest with you, if cutting Jimmy means moving on, drafting a quarterback, we still need a veteran, man. We got to get somebody.
So that's my point.
We got to get somebody there. No, you get a veteran for a low. You get.
It's about left tackle.
Derek Carr is going to be cut in a minute. I mean,
I'm talking about. I want the best left. If I'm drafting a quarterback,
Trent Williams need it. We need to pay him regardless.
Right. I mean, it's just Villanueva's out there. I want Trent, who knows the system, but you got to pay him $17 million a year.
I'm with it.
You know what I'm saying?
Let's pay him.
Worth that.
Okay.
Linemen are like quarterbacks to me, bro. You can win a lot of games with a great old line and an okay quarterback.
Yeah, and if I'm John Lynch, I'm thinking about the draft and I'm trying to formulate some sort of plan where I can get my quarterback and I can get my corner back. That is essentially what the 49ers are missing, and that's what they're going to continue to miss. I really think you have 10 picks and you need to utilize them. The 49ers are the juggernaut in the NFC West. I hear you on the quarterback situation, but when you look at the completeness of the team, they pump fear in the other three opponents. It is what it is. I think you build in the draft and you continue to be that defensive front and that running powerhouse to go ahead and make another playoff run.
What we got, Sterling?
Oh, man. let's start with the Aaron Rodgers thing, because, and this isn't me coming for you, Akeem, but in what right mind would the Green Bay Packers trade Aaron Rodgers to their biggest NFC rival of the last decade? They're not going to do that. They may love Jordan Love, unironically, but like they have no. This is the last team besides Belichick they would ever trade Aaron Rodgers to.
Well, I think the only reason if Aaron wanted that. So the thing is that Aaron controls his destiny right now. And I know they may have the power to pull the trigger, but Aaron can say, "Hey, I'm not coming. I'm not going to be happy here. We need to move on. Please don't have me go public with it, right? I would prefer you trade me to the Niners. I'm from California. To the end of my years, I don't want to play in the cold Indianapolis.
He could do what Matthew Stafford did.
I don't want to. And this is behind the scenes. And I'm just saying, he knows he's Aaron Rodgers. He knows even if he came out in the press and said, "I don't want to be here anymore," they're not coming for Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. They're not. The fan base respects him, loves him. They're not going to come for him. He knows that, and he knows I can say, "Hey, I want to move back to California. I'm from I mean, who's going to be mad at that, right?" Yeah. So the thing is now let's get something for him before he forces our hand and we have to hurry and get rid of him. Because you drafted a quarterback. You made a mistake to drafted a quarterback. So basically what you're saying was I'm guard. I don't have nothing left in me, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I just think that comes down to a new regime wanting their guy and knowing Rodgers is 36 and he's not going to last another decade. That's them saying we have the ability to have one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time train someone while he's here to be our quarterback for the next decade. Like that's just them trying to find their transition piece and probably overdrafting for a guy, but quarterback and move Hill around to play fullback, tight end, and quarterback. Like to me, there's no way Green Bay says, "Hey, San Francisco, Rodgers wants to come here. Let's make a deal." There's no way. Never. I think LA may have been a better spot for him, but Stafford's there now, of course. I don't
think he wanted to go there. He wants to be a Niner.
He does. What the problem is
happening.
It just there's no way that like they'll say Rodgers says, send me to San Francisco. They're gonna go, Aaron, really? How would that look for our franchise? I get from your outlook, it looks like the way that you think it will about you being the franchise quarterback, you having a ring, you being an MVP winner.
You owe him that all these years.
They don't. Here's the thing: as a new regime, they owe him nothing. It's a new owner,
and that's what I'm saying.
New coach and new GM.
And that's
they owe
what
nothing,
players,
unfortunately.
Exactly, you're right. But see, that's where players like Aaron Rodgers have the leverage. Yeah. Now I'm going to come to the press conference, and I'm going to say, you know what? That was a terrible call by the coach. He didn't have any faith, any trust in me on fourth down to win this game. We're not going to the Super Bowl because of it, and I'm unhappy. And guess what? I want to go to the 49ers. I'm going to leak all this information to all my little buddies in the neighborhood. I may even call a couple people on the 49ers and tell them to say something in public because I know that they're going to want me there also if I want to come there. So, I mean, yeah, you ain't got to do it, but when you're in the media every day now and things is popping up on you like, hold on, man. Like he doesn't
pressure's
believe
on.
He does. Do you really want your new quarterback believing that this is how you treat great quarterbacks at the end of their career? This is how he exits. Like you got to be real. If he wasn't Aaron Rodgers, he couldn't do it, right? Like even Deshaun Watson, I don't believe Deshaun Watson's going anywhere. I don't believe he's going to be traded.
Right.
I don't think he has zero leverage, right?
Zero.
Like, I'll tell him. I'll just go out there and play, man. All right, man. Whatever. Right? I'll tell him that.
He can sit out.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, no problem. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Retire. Barry Sanders me. You know what I mean? You gonna waste 2-3 years of your prime? Come on, bro. But go ahead, Sterling.
I think LaFleur gets ran out of Green Bay if they make that move. You do not want to give Kyle Shanahan Aaron Rodgers. You already get destroyed. You get destroyed by Jimmy G.
I definitely get where you're coming from.
Detroit just gave up to the Rams, bro.
But Detroit has.
But they don't play them like that.
Stafford and Goff, though. You can't compare Stafford and Goff to Garoppolo.
What I'm saying is they still trade him in the conference. Like they're not afraid of him.
But it's north and west, which is the same thing.
LaFleur is afraid.
But these are perennial playoff teams.
Say it.
LaFleur is afraid. Everyone is afraid of Kyle Shanahan. Like, and you got to think about what I'm saying. I guarantee you, if Nick Bosa wasn't injured and we played Green Bay without Jimmy Garoppolo, it would have been a different outcome. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because Nick Bosa knows how to get to Aaron Rodgers. And there's one thing Aaron Rodgers hates more than any quarterback in the NFL, and that's getting hit. It throws him off of his whole game plan when he feels like he's getting hit. If Nick Bosa was there, that game would have been a different outcome. Green Bay would probably be, they wouldn't have had, how many wins they have? 13, 14? They wouldn't have had that many wins. I can tell you that right now. So I get where Blair's coming from. I'm not giving. You already got Nick, and we got to deal with Nick. I'm not giving you Aaron and Nick. Oh, hell nah. Nah, I get
career over.
The only thing that Sean McVay and Matt LaFleur, who are both Kyle Shanahan guys, came from that same tree. The only thing they have an advantage of him on currently is quarterbacks, and they probably still can't beat him twice in the same year. Like that, and like that doesn't mean you don't try. But Aaron Rodgers, he just has what was a $158 million contract he just signed. Like it would cost Green Bay, I think, like $37 million just to trade him. Like, they're not going to move him at all in the next 4 years. They're not going to. Deshaun Watson's probably not going to get moved because no team's paying two first. Like I heard, it's like a Herschel Walker style trade. No one's paying that in this age of the NFL. No one's doing that. You want to know why? Because that made the Cowboys, when they traded Herschel Walker away, the next dynasty. No one wants to be the team that traded for a running back, only let your opposing team be the next dynasty instead. Nobody wants that. Houston's going to keep Deshaun Watson. Rodgers are going to stay in Green Bay, and San Francisco is going to have to settle for a Garoppolo and probably a rookie quarterback, either at 12, 19 in a trade back, or in second round.
And let me tell you,
as blunt as you can put it.
You're right, and I see it happening. But let me tell you what I don't want. I do not want Kirk Cousins.
No.
I do.
Hell no.
Like, bro, like if that happens, that can really.
It's not happening.
Well, I'm just saying the Kyle Shanahan era may be really, really short because you could jeopardize your job for a quarterback. Like you can really mess some things up.
So Kirk Cousins isn't better than Jimmy Garoppolo?
I think he's an upgrade, yes, but I don't like him.
Oh, okay.
So no,
he keep it in the book.
Oh,
I like how you said that, right, Blair?
Oh yeah, I don't like his style of play. So he's still above him, but I mean, okay, a C to a C plus, like.
But
yes,
if you want Mac Jones, you want Kirk Cousins 2.0. Mac Jones is Kirk Cousins.
Well,
4 years younger.
We don't know what Mac Jones can do in the NFL yet. I know that at least Cousins is going to put his nose in there and get his head busted trying to get a pass down the field. Jimmy's not going to do it. He'll take a sack. We also know Cousins is not going to really be too hurt. Like, he's not going to really be out there getting hurt. That matters, man. He's just more available. And he has a stronger arm, and he's not afraid. And I don't. And to be honest with you, man, Kirk Cousins was a Pro Bowler when he was with Kyle Shanahan. Now I don't want to bring up my 76ers, right? Because it's basketball. But what I'm saying to you is, I'm gonna have to bring up Tobias Harris playing with the coach. It matters what coach coaches certain players. And I'm just going to say it. I'm going to say it again, man. Trent Williams really don't want to leave because he knows Kyle Shanahan complements what he does best, right? Trent Williams knows that. Other players in that system know that. Kendrick Bourne is another one. If you look at Kendrick Bourne's game, he needs Kyle Shanahan. His style of play. Kendrick Bourne, where's he going to go, right? And he's going to be productive as he has been. We use all of our receivers, every one of them. So, I mean, I don't know, man. I see Kirk Cousins coming in. We probably win 10 games the first year, be in the playoffs. I just don't see Kurt as a winner like that. Like, I don't see him as he doesn't move the needle for me.
If you bring in Kirk Cousins, the ceiling doesn't change one bit. It's 10-6 on the average, maybe 9-7. And that's because the exact same thing people complain about Garoppolo, Shanahan hiding his weaknesses. Well, Cousins can throw a deep ball and can take a hit and is somewhat more mobile. It's the exact same ceiling, and that's 10-6, maybe 11-5 at the peak, and an NFC title game. That's the peak. That's where it stops. You have to bring in someone who's dynamic. And when it comes to Deshaun Watson, while I don't think he's going to get moved, the only thing that Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch do have over teams is, one, they have 10 picks this year. They can get rid of those things. Also, they're both on brand new contract extensions. They can take a big risk and miss if it comes down to it and still be here in 4 years. Like, they have a chance to take a big risk. If they miss, they'll be okay.
Yeah, I agree. I
see that.
Okay.
Get your guy, get your quarterback in the draft.
So I know we talked about the quarterback, and this is how big this is. We almost been here an hour. We about to get off the show, but I want everybody to understand. We sit here and talked about the scenarios for the quarterback for almost an hour, and the reason why I'm saying that is because this is the most important position on the field. I don't care what else we have. If we don't have a quarterback to execute, we got Kyle Shanahan because of his offensive genius. He showed it this year. Like, we were still top 13, 14 offense in the NFL with bums. Like, and then if you look at Nicky Bosa, great as he is, he went down what week? What, week 2?
2, yeah.
We still had a top 7 defense. Now, I'm not saying that we don't need him, because we do. We need an edge rusher that's elite. Right. But all I'm saying is, look at our record when our quarterback position wasn't stable. We looked horrible. So all I'm saying is, if we had a stable quarterback, we would have a number 7th ranked difference, probably 5 because we're scoring more points. And then we'll have a quarterback that can score points for us, that we can win games that we lost this year by 7 points. Now, let's just keep it all the way real, bro. We could not compete like the Eagles game.
There's no way we should have lost that game.
Okay, prime example is the Eagle game, right? What about week 1 against the Cardinals?
Interception.
Okay.
I mean,
so then now let's just start going over games, right?
But week 1 is such a bad example because they had no receivers. Ayuk didn't play. Debo didn't play. Kittle got hurt. Granted, that's Garoppolo's fault. And the fires definitely affected how they played.
Did we have an opportunity to win? Did we have an opportunity to win?
Yeah.
And a great quarterback, Aaron Rodgers. Those guys, elite quarterbacks, find you a way to win those games. And that's all I'm saying. If it's tight, Deshaun Watson was getting blown out by 20 points, bro. And he did what he could, but in the close games, he's trying to win. When they played the Ravens, he was trying to get a hold of them. Like, all I'm saying is, we need, like, Matt Ryan's. Even if you look at the Falcons this year, Matt Ryan's was playing out there, bro. They won 4 to 5 games. Matt Ryan's was still throwing 300.
But nobody talks about Matt Ryan. We can't win games.
Matt Ryan was out there throwing 300-yard games, bro.
But my point is, no one is complaining. He couldn't win. He couldn't. Like, they didn't have the defense. They didn't have he just
no coaching.
There you go.
But
he gets a pass, but Watson doesn't.
So the reason why, though, before we get by here, and I'm gonna let y'all say your social media handles. The reason why Jimmy doesn't get a pass for me, and this is one of the biggest reasons, is because most of the time when you see quarterbacks, they're lacking something if they're not good. They're lacking O-line. Now, our O-line was shaky, but we had running game. We can run the football. We had wide receivers. We had tight end. Hold on. We still have one of the best play callers in football. We have coaching. So when you have all those elements around the quarterback, normally they equate to winning football games. They equate to you doing very, very good. We did what happened? He doesn't get a pass from me. So I appreciate you guys coming on, man. Tell everybody how they can check your shows out, how to reach you on social media if they got a problem with what you said today. Because I know they was coming to my boy Sterling, boy. I swear, man, he was famous. He was famous the last week. He was famous about a week and a half.
Dude, man.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. When I seen it, I was like, oh, man, my boy out here getting ate up. Y'all go ahead, man. Let them know how to find you, man.
Yeah, and you can
ahead,
listen
sir.
to my podcast on Anchor, but also on you got me out of it, man. You can listen to it on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever podcasts are sold. I did a show with Vincent Frank, who was the one that put out the initial report of Stafford coming to San Francisco. I wanted to talk and figure out what the hell was going on and why I blew up on Twitter for a little bit. But also you can follow me on Twitter at 49er_access and follow me on Instagram at 49ers.access. I love the conversation. I love being on this podcast. You guys are great. It's a great conversation.
You, man.
All four of us seem to love this team so much. It's a great time to be on here every single time I am.
This is raw.
Yes, sir.
What you got, Wayne?
Hey, man, you guys can follow me at Wayne Breezy if you're not already doing so. Also, make sure you go and follow my Nitty Gritty Niners podcast on YouTube, spelled out Nitty Gritty Niners. You can also listen to us on Anchor.fm. That's your one-stop shop for podcasting, so make sure you check it out. Nitty Gritty Niners, man. We're doing some big things over there.
Yes,
Man,
sir.
and
Thank you, 49er fans, for sticking with us.
Yeah, for real, man. And I love how Wayne, when you're on your show, man, you break down that first drive. I think that's really creative, man, how y'all talk about it. That's pretty dope stuff, man. Yeah, real
Thank
talk.
you, brother.
Also, man, we're going to cut it down a little bit. We're going to be here at least once a week. If not, we're going to do every other week. We're going to really, like, what we want to do is we want to put quality shows out where people are intrigued, that you can hang around for an hour. A lot of shows I get in there and I'll be like, man, they just sitting around eating burritos, right? Like, and then there's really no substance to it. We really want to make sure that we're giving you quality content, and also too, if something comes out tomorrow, breaking news, we will be on. I promise you, we're gonna get this in. But I appreciate you guys. This is Niner for Life. We love our Niners, and we all want to improve our Niners. You got to remember, we're still a family, even if we don't agree, on everything. So, just take it easy on some people, man, out there, man. I see y'all out there with your opinions. It's all a sport, man. We all love the game. But we out of here. Peace.
Yes, sir.